Hey, so this video is basically just me kind of explaining and talking about the real raw emotions that I had with twin newborns, even after 4 years of infertility. Not all of these emotions I'm about to talk about are positive. I don't really know what the feelings were, or if there was even a label for them. We'll get into that, but I did struggle a lot, and that's basically what I'm here to talk about today. So, okay, first off, I actually find it kind of hard to sit here and talk about and put it out there on the internet. I mean, I've spoken to like friends and family about this before, but it's not something that I really like to talk about, just because I feel like it's a bit taboo to admit that you're not feeling happy, or you're not feeling like overwhelmed with love and stuff. And I didn't get that. Not to say I didn't love them. I knew that I loved them, but I think I was just going through so much in my head and mentally. I mean, I have a history of anxiety, and I think I struggled a lot through the first maybe like 4 months of their life. And again, I don't really like talking about it. It's not something that I'm proud of. But I will talk about it because that's what my channel's about. It's to try and connect with people who may feel the same way that I do. There may be people out there who just think, oh my God, I can't believe you just said that out loud. But I have to be real and honest, and that's what I plan to do. In regards to what was I feeling, I am not actually sure. I mean, was it baby blues? Was it postnatal depression or postpartum? I don't know. I don't think it was postnatal depression. From what I've heard of postnatal depression, it's quite bad. And it's super, super hard to get out of. But then I also understand that there is a spectrum of postnatal depression. So I don't know if I was in that kind of space. I don't know if that was me. I really don't know. I wasn't diagnosed with it. I didn't talk to a medical professional about it. I'll be honest, I was very scared to talk about it, only because I have a history of anxiety, and I was worried about what would happen if I opened my mouth to a medical professional. So I spoke to Yas about it a lot. So basically, let me just like kind of list off what I was feeling and my symptoms. So first off, I was just kind of crying a lot, which I heard is quite normal, but I was crying probably daily. I was crying most of the time, and I really, really, really struggled to get my emotions in check. I was also thinking a lot of things that I didn't want to be thinking, but I was very open about this to Yas, by the way. I didn't hold it in completely, but I was thinking a lot. I find this really hard to actually say out loud, but I did think a lot in the first 4 months, like, what have I done? That's really sad to hear me say that, or to say it out loud. It's I hate that I felt that way, but I just did. And I kept thinking to myself, oh my God, I don't know what I've done here. This is not what I thought it was going to be. This is not what you see in films and what you hear from people on Instagram, and people talk about, oh my God, I was so in love, blah, blah, blah. I didn't feel that. And it's not that I didn't love them. It's just that the overwhelming feeling of this whole new life that started, and I don't really know how to cope with that, took over the feeling of love. So like the feeling of love was there, it was just on the back burner. All my other emotions were roaring all the way to the front. My love was at the back, and everything else was kind of like, I can't even explain it. It's like an out of body experience. I almost felt like I had all the emotions, but also I had none. I don't know if that makes any sense to anyone. Let me know if you felt the same. If it makes sense to you, I would love to know, because I'm kind of rambling a little bit. But yeah, so I kept thinking, what have I done? And I kept also thinking that they deserve better than me, like as a mom. Okay, so I didn't expect to get like upset in this video. But I did. I just kept thinking to myself, they deserve a better mum than what I can be. I just felt like I wasn't adequate enough for them. Like I just felt like I was struggling so much mentally that I just thought they don't deserve this. They don't deserve a mum like me. I don't know. I just really I really struggled with those thoughts. And I also thought to myself that I would feel better. Like I kept thinking, why am I not better at this? Like I really thought that my calling in life was motherhood. Like I thought that I was born to be a mum. So the thoughts in my head of like, I'm really fucking bad at this. Sorry. I'm really bad at this. Kind of took over, and I just kept thinking, oh my God, they don't deserve me. Sorry. They don't deserve this, as in like they don't deserve what I'm currently giving, which was, I was just struggling. You know, they deserve more than me, basically. And I genuinely thought I would be better. And that was in the first 4 months. And the other kind of feeling that I had was this horrible feeling of guilt. And it was like, I had been trying for 4 years to get pregnant, and I couldn't help but think to myself, I felt like I was being ungrateful. Like I was like, why are you being so ungrateful? Like you finally got what you wanted. Like why are you feeling this way? And I couldn't get past those feelings. So again, I don't think it was quite postnatal depression. There was something going on. I'm not quite sure what it was. Maybe it was postnatal depression. I question it all the time. I think, was I going through that without realizing? Because I have this kind of idea in my head that postnatal depression is a lot more extreme than what I'm going through. And I don't know, maybe I was going through postnatal depression on some sort of level, but I was really, really struggling. And I would be like holding them or feeding them, and I'd just be looking at them and I'd be thinking, oh my God, you deserve way better than me. But I also think that there was a lot of other factors. So there's like, you know, lack of sleep. It's so hard to think as an adult human when you're not getting enough sleep. And it's just, I think when you become a new mom, it's a huge adjustment. Like, you go from being able to do what you want and sleeping when you want and waking up when you want, kind of. And then suddenly it's like you have to wake up every 3 hours and feed your kids. Every 3 hours. And it's not like, oh, finally it's the weekend, you get some time off. No. You have to keep going and going and going and going. And I kept thinking to myself, I don't know if I can do this. I think it's that adjustment. It was like shock to the system. And I think I was just really struggling with that, and I didn't know how to get out of it. And I don't think it helps that, you know, for the first Harlow's awake. She's just laying there kind of humming to herself. Bless her. What's the time? Okay. But yeah, I think I don't know what I was saying before that. I got distracted by a little humming. But oh no, that's what I was saying. I think it's where okay, so I think it's because for the first few months of a baby's life, they have no emotion. There's nothing. You literally get nothing out of them. You just get like a baby, and you have to change their nappies and you have to feed them, and there's nothing. Like, they're just so, there's just nothing there. And you also feel the same, where you're you know, you're on this like 3-hour routine over and over and over and over and over again for months. You become less human. You become a robot. I always said to people that I spoke to about it, I feel like a robot. Like, I feel like I'm struggling. Like, I feel like there's nothing here. Like, I'm empty, and I'm just kind of fulfilling these jobs that I have to do, and that is literally it. And I think that's what I struggled with. And then it all kind of changed, and this is why I don't know if it was postnatal depression, because as soon as my first baby smiled at me for the first time, like social smiles, not windy smiles, a social smile, the first time that happened, it all kind of just floated away. Those horrible feelings that I had just kind of were gone, and it was like suddenly my little babies were starting to get characters, and I don't know, it was very strange. It was like the robot in me was kind of leaving as they started to smile and babble. But the newborn stage for me was a real mental battle. I hate that. That's how I felt after all those years of trying to have a baby. I hate that. I feel like I took the newborn stage for granted, and I feel like I didn't really enjoy it like I should have, and I regret that so much, because I know it's not something I could have helped, but I wish that I had the chance to kind of do it all over again, so that I could enjoy the newborn stage while they're still newborn. A quick kind of thought as well is that I feel like it's so important to talk about the importance of support. Family or friends or your partner, whatever. I had incredible support, mostly from my partner. I mean, I would talk to him about these things, and I would be very, very open. I would literally tell him, I am not feeling right. I'm feeling like I don't deserve them and whatever. And he would give me kind of like a bit of a pep talk. He would help me in the best ways. He would tell me why I was wrong. He would say things like, he would just kind of reassure me like I'm a great mom, and also reassure me in the ways like, you're feeling like this because, again, if you've seen previous videos, our son had jaundice, which was very, very traumatizing. The kind of whole situation was really traumatizing for us, and he was like, we've been through that. He was like, you're trying really, really hard to get your breast milk up, and you're pumping to the point where you're like a factory cow, so he would kind of give me little like things like that to think about, like think about what you're doing so much, like they are so happy to have you, kind of thing. Like you're doing the best that you can, and you're brilliant. And that really helped me. I also had a lot of support from my parents. That was more like, I mean, when Yas had to go back to work, it was, oh my God. Thinking back to that time, I was like, I don't know how I did it, because I was not ready. But you can't just couldn't like not go to work. So he had to go back to work, which meant I was here on my own with 2 babies. And there were a lot of times, so I think when he first went back to work, my parents were like, we're going to come around and help you anyway. And they helped out so much. Like, they would come over and they would watch the twins while I went upstairs and like napped, and they would literally be like, just go and sleep, don't set an alarm, just sleep. And I did. Sometimes I slept for hours and hours and hours because I knew that they were in safe hands. And that was really, really freaking helpful for my sanity and my mental health. And also, you know, when I started to get a bit more comfortable with the twins on my own, my parents would not like decide that they're not coming over or whatever. We'd make that kind of arrangement, like, let me try and do it on my own. And they would ring and they'd be like, how are you doing? And sometimes I would burst out crying. And then it would be like, sometimes both of them, or sometimes like just my dad would just run over, like, right, I'm coming over, I'm coming to help you. And it was really reassuring knowing that I had that kind of support for when Yas was at work, because if I didn't have that, I think I don't think that I would have coped mentally. I think I would have had a breakdown. So I think if you are ever going through something where you don't feel positive, when you've got newborns, or, you know, after just giving birth or whatever, like, talk to someone about it. That's the advice that I could give, is don't hold it in, because it will just fester. I truly believe that talking to people and having support really helped me to keep out of that really extreme kind of mental like breakdown. I think that's really important. So, you know, if you're ever feeling like that, reach out to someone, because it's just not fun to do it on your own. But anyway, that's pretty much all that I have to say on that subject. It was a little bit hard. I didn't expect to get so upset. I think I managed to hold it together pretty well. Please let me know if you've ever been through something like that, or if you did go through postnatal depression, or you know, just let me know your thoughts and feedback. And also, I'm not a medical like specialist in postnatal depression or anything like that, baby blues or anything like that. But if you feel like you're not comfortable talking to people that you know, my DMs are always open, because I know how difficult it can be. And sometimes it's easier to talk to a stranger about negative thoughts and feelings that you're having. My Instagram is linked down below. Also, if you like this video, then like this video. And if you want to kind of continue on this twin mom / twin journey with me, then subscribe to my channel.